Jeremy Kyle, thank you so much for joining us. One of the most buzzed about daytime talk show hosts out there. We're going to talk a little bit about the upcoming season. First, how are you feeling going into this next season?
Well, you know, just, Carly, and great to speak to you again. I said to you off air, you have the same name as my wife, so this is going to be a very lovely interview, and it's going to be very different, and I'm going to do my impression of you at the end. I just really chuffed to be back. You know, I said to you last year, it counts for nothing, the English experience. 8 years, 2,000 shows, #1. This was where I wanted to be. This was what I wanted to do. And to get past that first season was a massive thing for us all. I think we learned, I think if we're really honest, I think we learned an awful lot from America last year. I think we took a lot of that back to England.
The show obviously deals with a lot of people's issues and what people are going through in their personal lives. We see just a few moments of that. You know, we get to see minutes of what you spend with them. What happens kind of beyond the show?
I would see these conflict shows and I would have this horrible feeling that it was a slightly exploitative experience because there didn't seem any end point. I acknowledge that it's a television show, and I acknowledge that all of these sorts of shows will get people with the same sort of stories. But for me, there has to be an end point. As a father of 4, I worry massively about the kids. I see certain presenters calling out 10 DNA test results in one show, and nobody seems to stop and say to these adults, I'm going to bang your heads together, because what happens to the child? Is the child going to be seeing both parents? And so we try and look at the way people will move beyond that.
Is it easy for you to leave your interactions with people on the stage, or do you take a lot of that home with you?
I think when you do 12 years of late night radio, which is what I did, I had to learn at 1 o'clock in the morning to get in that car. It was a bit like Midnight Caller, I suppose, but I'm not as good looking as him in any way. But I remember getting in the car and thinking, how do I switch off from this? Because if I don't, it's going to engulf my brain. And I think you get to a point, Carly, where you just say, OK, I've been asked an opinion, I've given it, I've been honest, we're done. Otherwise, you would go mad. Same with the show. We've got a massive team in England, a massive team here. We've got an aftercare department. I'm asked to do my bit, I do it. There are certain things that, I mean, really do get me. They do get me, but I have to switch off. And the best way to switch off is to go home to a wife and 3 children, you know?
Okay, well, I like this. We have to talk about your wife. You call her Carly. My name is Carly, and you promised that you would do a little bit of an impression of me.
I just think it's so awesome the way you talk. Your wife is called Carly, and I'm called Carly, and I remember talking to you last year, and it was so fun, and we're so happy to have you back on the show, Jeremy. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. I am gonna just... Okay, I do have one more question before I let you go. We have to ask about the royal family. You know, we're obsessed with the royal family in the U.S., and so we want to ask what your stance is, how you feel about the photos that just came out about the Duchess.
You wouldn't have known this when you asked me, but my father worked for the royal family for 41 years, Carly. He worked for the Queen Mother and retired about 15 years ago. And so I was brought up in a very royalist family. You've got to understand, in terms of Britain, this girl and William have transformed the monarchy. They went through a really rocky patch in terms of how they were viewed by the British public. This wedding, this couple, this girl who is, and I'm being straight with you, a commoner, right? She is, have transformed how people think. Most people in Britain now would like Charles and Camilla to step aside and let this young couple take over. I think William is being particularly strong on this issue, as he should be, because of what happened to his mother with the paparazzi. I think they absolutely were right to expect privacy.
I can't leave you quite yet, only because I was told this. I think this is coming from your people. We need to ask you to sing an Andrew Lloyd Webber song.
I can't sing an Andrew Lloyd Webber song. Is that you, Jim Kelly?
You have to.
I'm not doing any more. That's it. I'm done. Humiliated myself.
But that was beautiful.
It wasn't beautiful.
You are good.
You're beautiful.
You are really
this is going wrong. This whole relationship is it. Carly,
this is just, we just need to end this right now.
We meet once a year and there's something, isn't there?
I believe it. I believe
I'm
it.
coming to Minneapolis.
You're going to have to come visit us in Minnesota.
I'm coming.
Yes,
I'm coming.
please do.
I'm coming to Minnesota. Right, get a plane. I'm going to Minnesota.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, Carly.
We look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. Thank you so much for chatting with us.
Bye, Carly.
And we will see you weekdays right here on the CW Twin Cities.